Hello everyone, welcome back to our channel. In this video, we are continuing with our NCERT series and we will study part 1 of chapter 5 of our class 6th NCERT named as Our Past One. And the name of the chapter is What Books and Burials Tell Us. So in this video, we will study about Vedic age. So now let us talk about the Vedas, which are one of the oldest books in the world. So you have probably heard that there are 4 Vedas: Rig Veda, Sam Veda, Yajur Veda and Atharva Veda. Among them, the Rig Veda is the oldest and it is the treasure of more than 1,000 hymns called Suktas, meaning well said. So these hymns praise various gods and goddesses, especially 3 powerful deities, and these are Agni, Indra and Soma. So Agni is the god of fire, Indra is the mighty warrior god, and Soma is a mystical plant from which a special ritual drink was prepared. And what makes the Rig Veda magical is not just its content, but also how it was preserved. These hymns were composed by sages or rishis and passed on through precise oral teaching. So priests trained students to memorize every syllable, every word with extraordinary discipline. And most hymns were composed and transmitted by men, but a few were famously composed by women as well. So both men and women used to compose these hymns. And all of this was done in Vedic Sanskrit, which is a much older form than the Sanskrit we see in textbooks today. So the books we use are written and printed, but Rig Veda was recited and heard rather than read. It was written down several centuries after it was first composed and was printed less than 200 years ago. So today we are used to reading books that are written, printed and published, but imagine a time when the Rig Veda was heard and not read. And for many centuries it was recited during rituals and gatherings. And only long after its composition was it finally written down. And it was printed less than 200 years ago. That means for most of its existence, the Rig Veda was stored in human memory and not on paper. So Vedas are one of the oldest books in the world. This you can see an image of an ancient manuscript of the Rig Veda, and this manuscript of Rig Veda was on birch bark and it was found in Kashmir. So about 150 years ago, it was used to prepare one of the earliest printed texts of Rig Veda, as well as an English translation of it. And now it is preserved in a library in Pune, Maharashtra. So let us now step into the world of languages. Sanskrit belongs to a large family of languages called the Indo-European language family. Interestingly, many Indian languages like Hindi, Gujarati, Assamese, Kashmiri, and even several European languages like English, French, German, Greek, and Spanish, they belong to the same family, that is Indo-European family. So why are they called a family? Because they share common roots. So just think about the word for mother. Matra in Sanskrit, Ma in Hindi, and mother in English. So do you hear the similarity? However, not all languages in India come from this family. The northeastern languages belong to the Tibeto-Burman family, while the Tamil, Telugu, Kannada and Malayalam come from the Dravidian family. Languages spoken in Jharkhand and parts of central India belong to the Austro-Asiatic family. Now let's see how historians study the Rig Veda. Unlike archaeologists who dig up objects, historians use written sources, language patterns and clues hidden in hymns. So interestingly, some hymns of the Rig Veda are written as dialogues. One famous hymn is a conversation between the sage Vishwamitra and 2 rivers, Beas and Satluj, and they were worshipped as goddesses. Also, many hymns in Rig Veda contain prayers for even cattle, horses and sons. So cattle, horses and sons were considered to be very important. So horses were incredibly important. They were tied to chariots used in battles, and most battles were fought to capture cattle, which were considered wealth. Land was also another reason for conflict. Land for pasture, land for growing quick ripening crops like barley, and land near water sources. Sometimes people were captured in war, and some of this captured wealth was kept by leaders, some was given to priests, and the rest was distributed among the people. Part of it was used for yajnas or sacrifices to gods, where offerings such as ghee, grain, and in some cases animals were placed into fire. Talking about the army, so there was no permanent army. Instead, most men joined battles when required. And there were also assemblies where people discussed matters of war and peace and choose their leaders. And the leaders were called as Rajas. And they were not like the kings we imagine today. They had no palaces, no capital cities, no taxes, and power did not automatically pass from father to son. Their position was based more on skill, bravery, and public approval. So the Rig Veda also uses different words to describe people. The priests who performed rituals were called the Brahmins, while Rajas were the leaders. Two important words used to describe communities were Jana and Vish. From the word Vish, we later get the word Vaishya. So several groups or tribes such as the Puru, Bharat, Yadu and others are mentioned in the Rig Veda. The composers of the hymns often call themselves Aryas, and their opponents were labeled Dasas or Dasyus. These groups probably spoke different languages and did not perform Vedic sacrifices. So over time, the word Dasa began to mean slave. So slaves were men or women captured in war and treated as the property of their owners. So now we can see the concept of slavery was as old as Vedic age. So while the Rig Veda was taking shape in the northwest of the subcontinent, other developments were happening in different parts of India. And this we will explore in our next video. Thanks for watching and don't forget to like, share and subscribe for more historical videos. Until next time, study smart, stay curious and keep exploring.